Three, two, one. We live? Are we live? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites, and welcome to another edition of Notes on the News, where I share with you headlines. Look, and I yell at you. I share with you headlines from my news feed, and occasionally my thoughts or ideas about the headlines, about the subject matter at large. Hello, welcome in the chat. About the story and whatever else happens to come up for me from the story. But it's not news. It's just my notes on the news. And speaking of not news, I guess I reported the other day that young M.A. was the man who was the rapper who took a picture in the dress, and it's Young Thug. So I was wrong. But I told y'all already, it's not news. It's not news. I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you for being here. Let us proceed with notes on the news feed. Philippines moves closer to allowing divorce. I guess you can't. I work at my desk, so that's why I typically pop on so fast in case you're wondering. Much love, sis, black love. I appreciate it. It's like I got some company. I already got an audience. You know, I'm a theater person. What am I going to do without an audience? I'm just joking. I'm probably not joking. But there's nothing like in theater. There's nothing like live theater. Like working on film is just not the same. You try to make it the same, but people, there's something about the vibration, even the virtual vibration. So Philippines, I guess it's not legal to get a divorce in the Philippines. Who knew? I didn't know. Did you know? I did not know. So now we know. They're moving closer, though. If you in the Philippines, you might soon be able to get a divorce. Facebook users are livid about the poor handling of Cambridge Analytica's data harvesting. And now hashtag delete Facebook is trending. Is it trending on Twitter? You ain't know about the Philippines either. Who knew? I thought it was illegal. I don't know. I never really thought about it, I guess. So I was talking about it. I'm like, and the thing about it is about this whole, them harvesting information from us. We know they harvest information. We don't care because we just want to be online and socializing and social media. And who gonna delete Facebook? And then I see this article and it's like, should I delete Facebook? Maybe I should delete Facebook. Maybe if enough people protest, then the companies will either get more wily or more, So yeah, the only thing that I was thinking is that I'm producing a show now, and so I set up the Facebook page. So I'm like, if I delete Facebook, what's going to happen to that page? But I could probably make somebody else an administrator of that page and just leave. So I don't know. I mean, if you've ever read, there's a young adult book called Feed or The Feed, right? Privacy is a thing far in the past. There's a book called, a young adult fiction book called Feed or The Feed, and I read it for book club. I used to be in a young adult book club like 5 years ago or whatever when I was in Mississippi, and we ended up reading that book in my black book club or conscious book club or whatever. And we still talking about that book years later, but it's sort of about like issues of privacy and issues of privacy as they intersect with, technology. And like, to me, I think one of the most, like the whole thing was disturbing. Like you didn't have, like they were like, imagine people used to carry their phones around and their computers around in their hands. That's like carrying your lungs around. They were so old fashioned back then. So everything is integrated. And while I'm talking to you, ads are going across my eyes, and they're, it's like, it's specifically, they're harvesting my thoughts. They know what I think about. They know what, and that's how, so like, that's what the book is about. And there was one character in the book whose family had resisted, and there were other people who had resisted. And so she didn't get implanted with computer technology at birth. She wasn't like till she was like 12 or 13 when she got implanted. And it was like she was like ostracized. She was like wouldn't be considered for jobs. It was like, how is she going to make a living and survive without this technology? So they implanted it in her, when she was older, like other people, it was at birth, and her body like rejected. And that's kind of like where the book picks up in a way, like where we start with her rejecting, although we don't know she's rejecting. But I feel like, that's like, I don't know. It's almost like I feel like resistance is futile. Is that like a Star Trek, Star Wars? You know, one of those TV shows I used to watch, and the Borg are like, resistance is futile. I think the only people not susceptible to facial recognition now are the Amish, but maybe even they are now. Well, you know what they say about this facial recognition technology? It don't halfway recognize Star Trek. It don't recognize black folks. Because like they say on the new iPhone or whatever, that any old random Asian woman, if you Asian and you put your face in, do you think it's going to recognize you? Any old random Asian woman could put their face in and it would, you know, so it's like, it's not, and I think she did a thing, Robin Thede, I think talked a little bit about how, you know, technology like doesn't recognize some of the technology because the people who design it are so white male and oriented to that way. It's like, we don't even exist for them. Like in their science fiction, it ain't no black and brown people because they, you know, that's not part of their vision. But anyway, so are you going to boycott Facebook? Even facial recognition thinks we all look alike. Hey, girl, right? So are we gonna boycott? Are we about to link arms and boycott Facebook, or are we just gonna go along with the program? Are we just gonna like wimp out, or are we about to like forget you, Facebook? I don't know. I'm gonna think about it. I mean, you know, I guess yeah. Just here for a minute at work, so I can't hear, but supporting you. I appreciate you. I appreciate that, and I need it, and I welcome it, and I support you too. I'm sending you love and positive vibrations. Go out there and be a blessing and be blessed. Or be out there and be blessed and be a blessing. Martina Navratilova, I'm killing her name, but you know, she was like I think she played tennis, but she's an athlete, a female athlete. She is shocked to learn that BBC, the news company in Britain, paid John McEnroe, I don't know who he is, but probably a tennis player too, 10 times more than her. Now, I don't know if she was like a better player. I don't really know how to, you know, but yeah, she's shocked. She found out and she's shocked. I'm not shocked. I figure she's probably 10 times better than him, and he probably made more money than her, because that's the system is designed for, you know, who? Rich white men with property and power. And they system take care of them, elevate them, big up them. That's what it does. A self-driving Uber car has hit and killed. She was the Serena Williams of her day. She's the white Serena Williams. A self-driving Uber car has hit and killed a woman in the first known autonomous vehicle death. So rest in peace to the woman. I'm not quite sure who she is, but and I think I see later on where Uber has shut down the autonomous car thing for now. But again, you know, is that going to stop the wave of, you know, is that going to really stop anything? I think it might slow things. It might pause things, but I don't know. So these autonomous cars the technology is just like the rest of us. Thinking all black folks look alike, killing people, having accidents. Okay. Uber stops all self-driving car tests after fatal accident. So I guess they were just testing. Yeah, y'all need to take that back to the drawing board. I wonder how the person feels who got killed. Like, it just seems like they were just, I mean, well, the person who got killed, I guess they feel dead. But like I mean, it's kind of like it won't stop. There are so many plane wrecks before they got it right. Right. I mean, and what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to just, you know, it's kind of like that video that's going around now of the child who's trying to jump up on the thing, jump up on the thing, jump up on the thing. And it's like I think it's a little girl, I'm not sure. But the baby is hitting their face. I'm like, oh my God, the teeth gonna get knocked out. But they keep trying. And then daddy comes up, or the daddy figure, and he's like, you can do it. You got it. Or whatever. And then the next time the child jumps up and they land on top of the thing. But in the meanwhile, I'm like, now if that child, everybody watched the video, and then after the baby got up there, the daddy is like, yes, and everybody's like, yes. I'm like, if that baby had knocked their head out and had been brain dead, we would not be saying yes. I mean, I was very stressed watching the child, but we can't stop. Won't stop, because somebody get killed. We don't know. Does anybody? I mean, somebody cares about people, you know. But I'm just saying, that's like progress, or, you know, that's the process. It's like collateral damage. We even have a concept for that. Like, that's just collateral damage. Like, oh well. But anyway, again, rest in peace to the person and family. I hope it happened quickly and they did, Black-owned South Florida restaurant vandalized and burglarized in possible hate crime. The name of the shop, to me, the name, I was like, they knew it was a black restaurant, but we don't know who did I don't know. I'm talking about we, like I'm part of them. They don't know who did it. What was the name of the restaurant? Owner says he doesn't hate the man who attacked him. It's called Fat Boys BOYZ Barbecue. He says he was shocked and disheartened. Now, I hadn't even clicked on the article. Oh, I must have, because I knew it was Fat Boy. I knew it was some kind of name where I was like, I would have figured it was black folks who own the restaurant. But I think it's really interesting to see the subtitle that he's like, I'm not, I don't hate the person who did it. And I'm not encouraging hate. But it's like, I just feel like that programming of forgiving or I don't hate, I don't I feel like, are you a little upset? Are you disturbed? Are you mad at him? Or you just moved on already and it's been 2 minutes? Is that realistic? Is that healthy? I mean, just like there's a natural process for grief, isn't there a natural process? If somebody come in and kill your family, we already forgave them, 2 seconds later. Isn't there some process where we come, where normal human beings come to forgiveness? I'm not talking about someone who's super advanced spiritually. That's different. But I just feel like regular Joes out here, they ain't feeling I mean, maybe he's I don't know. Okay. Florida sheriff finally admits to bias in profiling of black residents. Okay, so now that this has happened, did anything change? Is it better now? They finally admitted to something we already know. Is it better when they admit it? Does it have more powerful? Is it more meaningful? Do something to me and mine, and there will be no forgiveness from me. Different recent shootings, I have heard one white person. You have not heard of one white person talking about forgiving anybody. But it seemed like it's something culturally, I don't with the Emmanuel 9, I talked about it, and I heard somebody say, well, they're in a community where they can't be out there talking about, because they got to go to work tomorrow. So they can't be making the white people think that they mad, because then they won't have no jobs, and they won't have no food, they won't have no place to live, they won't have no clothes to wear, what's going to happen to their children? So they got to be like, we forgive. Yes, sir. We's happy. That was their theory. And I was kind of like, well, that's really interesting. And I think because of the brainwashing of Christianity among our people. Yeah. Not heard of one white person talking about forgiving anyone. And we'd be quick with that. I mean, it's a gut reaction. I mean, even in this story, it was so quick, I missed it. He already forgave him. It just happened, boo. But anyway, or he said what did he say? He not mad? I forget. But anyway, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be walking around vengeful and full of hate and, mad and stuff. But I mean, it just seems like there would be a natural process of, a process. Yeah. Something unnatural is going on. That's my theory. And we know what it is. Some people call it racism, white supremacy. A brief history of London's New Beacon Books. I've never been to London, but New Beacon Books is a black-owned bookstore. It was opened in the 60s. Is it still there? Has anyone been there? Next time we go to London, let's go. I think a person cannot forgive without hating. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's probably beyond my pay grade, Yeah, I don't know. I have to think about that. Because I guess they linked in my head. I'm like, I don't know. Can they? What? What are you talking about? So go visit London's New Beacon Books when you're in London. Or if you're in London, tell us a report. Tell us what's going on. It's a black-owned business in London. Spanish ship seized by Italy for saving migrants from Libya return. So I guess... the people were going to be sent back to Libya, and somehow these people from Spain, got them and took them to, took them on to Spain, and so now the the Italians are like, you bringing them immigrants here, you should have sent them back to to Libya. So I don't know, y'all. This cardinal or these cardinals, I don't know. I have to like research cardinals because this backyard, it's like every time I sit down here, we be looking at the cardinals. Looking at the cardinals. Okay. See why Denzel Washington is heading to Broadway for 2 very special reasons. He's doing Iceman Cometh. He's going to be performing in the show. Iceman Cometh is by... Dang, who is Iceman Cometh by? I've heard of that show. I've never seen it. Now I want to see it. I want to go to New York to see Denzel and Iceman Cometh. Is it August Wilson? It might be one of August Wilson's shows. I don't know. But anyway, for those of you in New York, go get your tickets now to see George C. Wolfe's. Oh, George C. Wolfe was the Colored Museum. I love the Colored Museum. I think that's one of the best shows. One of my favorite shows. I only have a few, but still. Turkish police seize radioactive material in anti-smuggling raid. So that's like Denzel Washington is an actor as standing up for our people. He has a black wife. Does that count for anything? He did the show he just directed. That he acted in. That's some powerful. Dang, I can't even think of the writer's name who's done he's like for every decade he has like a play for the black experience or a black experience, like in, I think it's Baltimore. It was just in the movie theater. He played a sanitation worker, and his son wanted to be a baseball player. But anyway, so does George Lucas. No. Oh, George Lucas has a black wife. Well, I don't know. Acting. That's acting and directing. But maybe that's his gift and his talent, acting and directing. His consciousness is, I don't know, Iapo. Gosh, I want to see the good acting and the. Okay. IBM's tiniest computer is smaller than a grain of rock salt. That's really, really small. I know. Look, I'm all beat down. Okay. I don't know if I'm beat down or not, but you know, it's good to think about stuff. I'm just joking. But a grain of salt is really small. I just don't even know how to conceive of a computer smaller than a grain of salt. I guess my first question is like, how do you work it? How does it work? I don't understand. So it's like well beyond my pay grade. A helicopter's engine failed. Now, we've been talking about all of these plane crashes. Hey, watching your notes on the news. Oh, okay. We've been talking about these plane crashes all over the world, and we've been talking about them in sort of like trying to link them up with this idea of the hackation of a lot of systems and finding out that, you know, the Russians did some hackation of aviation. And so I was wondering, like, are these plane crashes like plane and helicopter crashes? What's going on? So the president zeros Ivanka. That's his daughter, and his daughter's husband were on a helicopter. Was it a plane? But anyway, they were flying a helicopter, and I guess there were 2 engines and one failed. So I felt like that was a threat. I mean, I don't know, but it's like a warning. Like I only took out 1 engine this time, but the next time I could take out 2. And you know, Zero is paranoid. Like, part of the reason he likes to eat fast food is because they never know when he's coming, which one he's going to. So he figured he getting the same food I'm getting. Ain't nobody care about killing Angela. So he figured he's safe. Everybody want to kill Zero. So I think I think it's a threat. I don't know. I just think there's more going on than we see. I don't know if I'm a conspiracy theorist, but maybe. The Austin package explosions are getting more sophisticated, and authorities say that there's a serial bomber. So I think it shows up on the news feed, but there was another bombing, I think last night, like 10, 11 o'clock. Remember, we were talking yesterday about the fact that the Roots got a bomb threat. They were supposed to perform at South by Southwest, which was going on in Austin. There have been 3 package bombs that have gone off in the last month in Austin. I think that 2 people have made their transition, and 1 or 2 people have been injured. And now I think there were 2 injuries with this. And so the FBI is there. We were asking yesterday, well, did they catch them? And, my mother was saying, well, no, the FBI is there because they're like, well, a child or anybody could have tripped over that. And I'm like, a child, anybody? I mean, if you delivering packages to people to kill them, like, but anyway, it really got me thinking about the fact that sometimes I feel like when people are talking about zero and zero supporters, and when we talk about like, targeting information to certain people and people being receptive to certain information, and then we talk about the 2 women on Facebook, training their children up, there's a certain orientation there, like, but it's sort of like, it might be a small cadre, like you might be like, well, it's only 1/3, it's not that many, but can you imagine if you're in a room with 3 people and one of them has a gun or 20 guns and is willing to use it to try to kill you, or is willing to make, I mean, it's sort of like, I just feel like, I guess those people who use this language or use this concept, like when people are like, we need to be prayed up, like I think we just need to be very clear. We need to be spiritually right, and we need to like the thing about it is like, I think Audre Lorde is like, your silence won't buy you safety. So, there's not really anything. If somebody is crazy and armed and trying to kill you, it's not like there's anything. That's not on you. Like, all you can do is walk in righteousness. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not like, well, just I think the idea of like terrorism is like to make you like, well, we're just going to stay in our homes. We're going to, like you always kind of have this sense of like, well, as a woman, like, okay, well, I'm just not going to wear short skirts. I'm not going to go out at night. I'm not going to talk to men I don't know. I'm not going to, like you keep feeling like there's, and it's like, as you do it, you get smaller and smaller and smaller, and and it's like, it really is not anything about you. It's about them. They're the crazy ones. They're the villains. They're the attackers. They're the terrorists. They're the so I just feel like, I don't know. I just think that even worse, if the person or persons aren't crazy, they're methodical, and that's far more dangerous. Well, but I just feel like maybe I just can't process, like, because I feel like I don't even understand how a person is sane. And well, I think that there's like one instance that I can think of where you're sane and you murder someone, maybe 2. Like if someone is coming at me and they're trying to kill me and then I kill them, I think that might be. But if I'm like, what? He cheated on me. I'm going to get a gun and I'm going to kill him. That seems crazy to me. If I'm like, what? They stepped on my shoes. I'm going to kill him. Or like, I have a friend who was, in a certain business and somebody ended up stealing some money from him. And he was like, he knew he had to leave town because he was looking for that person to kill him. And I'm like, yeah, I think it is crazy in a way to kill people over money. Like they stole something from you or cost you money, and like then you out here. Like, so is killing ever sane? Like, is racism, like, even if you're like methodical, like if you ever watch those like Law and Order, there's another Criminal Intent, Criminal Mind. It's a whole series of shows that kind of deal with, or whatever, theoretically, like the psychology of like these serial killers, right? They can be very methodical and crazy. Hey, Bianca Brooks. They can be very methodical and crazy. It's not difficult for normal people to twist our minds that way. There's crazy and there's insane. I don't know what the difference is, but I'm just like, if it's a third of them out here who are heavily armed and constantly being rearmed, and they like, we hate black people and we don't care and we about to kill people. And if you take President Trump or whatever, I just think there's going to be a call to arms. That's just, I don't know, and I feel like they are armed and they're they're going to answer the call. Now, I don't know. I mean, hopefully I'm like totally wrong and totally off, but that's what it feels like to me. Like, and I guess in my mind, I'm just like prepared to like, you know, well, you can kill my body, but you can't kill my spirit. You can't kill resistance. You can't kill truth. You can't kill righteousness. So I'm not going to, you know, I'm trying to like just be at peace with it and not let it stress me out. But like the more I think about it, or, you know, whenever I hear pieces of, you know, little pieces of the puzzle, I'm like, it seems, I don't know. So rest in peace, you know, to the people who have already made their transitions and to the people who are in Austin. But like, just imagine like, okay, that's going on in Austin. What if tomorrow we hear about it going on in Detroit? We hear about it going on in Baltimore. We hear about it going on in DC. Or just, hey, all of you random hateful militia, white, neo-Nazi, KK, whatever they want to call them. I don't know what, you know, but hey, brethren, you know, white people united to hate, you know, whatever, I don't know, just in your community, if you kill the black leaders or kill a black, today is kill a black person day or a brown person day, and I feel like they would just, now you can text in Wakandan thanks to a Black Panther superfan. I saw somebody post yesterday, I think it was on Twitter, they were like Beige Panther called, Wakanda. The Beige Panther was set in Wakanda. At any given time, people are always planning some deviltry, unfortunately. Yeah, and then there are people who are planning good too. We got to keep, I'm trying to stay balanced, but you know, I just have to believe that God and good is bigger than all of the rest of that. And so I'm just going to focus on God and good as much as I can, you know, and just keep trying to refocus and just trust that, you know, at the same time that there are people out here who are, you know, trying to do evilness, that there are, you know, people, including our ancestors, who are out here working on our behalf. And we have to be out here, you know, we have to do our part. You know, all of us, if your part is, you know, to be an actor and a director, do that, boo. Whatever, you know, but we have to be out here trying to add good, trying to consciously focus on good, God, adding value, and just being positive and productive. You know, I don't even know what the right language is, but you know what I mean. Phone Swap, the dating game for the Snapchat generation, returns for a second season. So the dating game, remember the dating game? I think that was the one where you would like have, you couldn't see, and then you'd have 3 men or 3 women, and then you like ask them questions, and then you pick somebody. I love dating shows. So I think that was that one. That one wasn't my favorite one. But anyway, so on this show called The Phone Swap, you get the person's phone for an hour and you go through it. I don't know if it's an hour. I might be conflating that with Married at First Sight, which I also love. That's like a dating show, but like on steroids, because people get married at first sight. Who does that? A lot of people throughout the world, apparently, but just not so much in this country. But so you know, you look at their phone, you look at different people's phones, and then you decide who you want to date based on what's in the phone. So if people were to look at your phone, what would they see? Who is it? The essence of you in your phone? Sonic. I don't know if they have Sonics all over the country. They have them down south. And I think I've seen 1 or 2 here. I remember one guy there was this guy I was dating, and he was like a Sonic addict. And it's like, it was not, you know. We too old to be eating fast food, like as like a way of life. Like, yeah, we got to take care of ourselves. That was not attractive. Anyway, Sonic is rolling out pickle juice slushies, and they taste better than you would expect. And I saw a story the other day, and it was like it's some treat that people eat where they take pickles, they take peppermint sticks, and they put them in pickles. I never heard of it. But apparently it's not like a new thing. It's like something like from the 20s or the 30s. So, pickle juice, peppermint, and pickles. Sonic. I know, like, but when I was thinking about the peppermint and pickle, I was thinking it would be salty, tangy, sweet, crunchy. You know, there are certain centers that, you know, you can hit that, like potato chips hit those, like a lot of centers. Like they're salty, they're crunchy. The potatoes your body receives as sugar. So like all of those things sort of stimulate you, and they hit all of these, like, you know, all the, it's like if you can like in one bite hit all the nerve, then people gonna keep coming back. So I can't imagine just being willing to try it. But in my head, when I thought about the flavor profile, I understood. I was like, conceptually, I get it. Practically, I just don't see myself eating a pickle slushy or pickle peppermint stick thing. But y'all had that? You know anybody who's had that? Disney CEO Bob Iger could earn up to $423 million in compensation, advisory firm says. We just got our last hint that Hope Hicks had a detailed diary, and that could be of interest to investigators. Even though I just, like, there's this whole thing going around too with Hope Hicks and like the Valentine's notes that she wrote to the staff, and like people are like, they look like something that like a junior high girl would do. Girl, I've been here, but I gotta go. My phone on the charger. We got a tornado potential this afternoon, and I need to be charged. Bye. Bye. Be safe. Tornado where? Kids would eat the peppermint stick in a pickle when I was in school. I couldn't get with it. See, it's not even like, that's what I say. It's not new. Be safe where you have the tornado. It must be in the Midwest because we got tornadoes. We get tornadoes in the Midwest. Alabama. Oh, girl. Okay. Well, be safe. Charge your phone. Get water. What else do you do for tornadoes? You know better than me. You're in our thoughts and prayers. So Hope Hicks, you know, it was like she gave out Valentine's Day cards, and they seem sort of like something, all right, be safe, first day of spring. They seem like these Valentine's Day cards seem like something that, like, you know, a junior high girl or like a 7-year-old would make. You know, like they seem kind of like, hey, love and hope. Yay! You know, like it seemed kind of like, even like a woman who does handwritten, you know, like as an adult, some women do handwritten like notes and correspondence and stuff, but usually it's on stationery. Like her whole thing, it looked very like, it could have looked scrapbooky, but it looked sort of juvenile. But so it doesn't surprise me that she keeps a diary, but I was kind of a little bit offended because it seems like she'd be like, dear diary, today, me and Donald. Oh, Hope Hicks is the woman who was the communication director for President Zero. She initially worked with President Zero's daughter, Ivanka, in her firm. She was a model. She did some public relations work, which almost anybody, if you can smile, can do public relations work. It's not like you need any qualifications. But she's been the highest paid White House, the youngest, highest paid, like she gets the maximum amount that you can get as a White House staffer. And she, you know, and she's the youngest one that's ever held that position. She's like considered like a Trump whisperer, like when he, you know, so she's just this white, I guess some people would consider her to be pretty. She was tied up. One guy who got kicked out of the White House, who it had been exposed that he was like beating his wives and stuff. She was dating him. She got interviewed by the FBI or by Mueller or something, and then like the next day she resigned. But according to like her diary or her notes or whatever, she had been planning to resign. When the president was making a talk or a meeting with I think the children or the families of children who had been, you know, okay, jogged your memory, who had been killed last month at the school. She's the one, apparently they say it's her handwriting, who said, you know, I hear you. You know, she gave him the little crib notes of like what to say to appear to be, you know, a person who has a heart. But I feel like, even though I don't feel like I don't have any like, oh, Hope Hicks, she's just like a sweet girl. I don't necessarily feel like that, but I do feel like, so they're going to go through her diary? Like that just seems very like personal. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That seems very personal to me. Because, like, when you write your diary, I don't know. Okay. This Black-owned hotel in Morocco will blow you away. Has anybody been in Morocco? Anybody planning to go to Morocco? Morocco is on my list of places to go because it's Morocco. It seems like the architecture and, like, you know, the rugs and the Cushions on the floor. I love to sit on the floor. It seems colorful. This is the owner of the hotel, I guess, and her husband. They bought the land in 2000, so it's not been an old, well-established. Although 18 years is a long time. I was just there in December. Amazing. I was trying to find a name. Everyone should take a trip. I'd like to go. I was trying to find so they had it's in Marrakech, which I think is that different from Marrakesh, but it's spelled CH in this article. I don't know what the name of the hotel is. I would have thought that would be right at the top of the article. Let's see if it's at the bottom of the article. What makes Jeanne Thompson unique is the fact that it doesn't compete with conventional luxury, spelled both ways. Oh, okay, learn something new. There are no TVs, no room service, and no DJs by the swimming pool. The hotel does offer its guests excellent internet to stay connected to the news and stock market, however. So next time we're in Morocco or planning a trip to Morocco, or you know somebody who's planning a trip to Morocco, let's recommend this Black-owned business, Jane. So it's like Janine, and then Tamsna, Tamsna. And I'm sure my accent is totally off, but see this shape right here. I just think it's so interesting, that keyhole shape, and then those colors. Just seems like Morocco. My mother has been to Morocco. She's been to Morocco and to South Africa, and I've never even been to the African continent even once. It's like awful. How Wendy Williams battles her debilitating illness and fights to return to TV. Okay, so what I thought was interesting is I saw a minute of her show, or, a couple minutes of her show today. And I was like very disturbed because she's like, oh, so, when I was away, people were calling me and they haven't called me for 5 months trying to see how I was doing. And I'm like, why are you calling me now? And I'm like, first of all, when you're grown and busy, and she's like busier than most normal human beings, but even normal human beings, there are people that I don't talk to every day, every week, every month, every year even. But that don't mean that if they called me because they heard I was sick, I would think that that was like awful. I would be like, wow, they heard that I was. That's all I wanted to say. I just feel like it was kind of sad. I'm like, what's wrong with her? Like, and it just felt like she like isolates herself. Like, it was just, like just as a human being, I just kind of felt bad. Like, that just sounded really sad to me, That's all I wanted to say. But, Wendy Williams is back on today. Dean of high school, Michelle Obama, attended under fire for cruel Trayvon Martin remarks. Now, what I wanted to say about this is we've been talking about education and our children in these schools, and the craziness of the teachers and the administration, and the curriculum and the things they're doing to our children. And, but what this article, the secret message that I got from this headline is that, and I know Michelle Obama is not at the top of consciousness, okay, but we're resilient and we can survive. And even if our spirits are not 100% intact from the attacks that we get from the society, that we're just a beautiful, brilliant, strong, resilient people. Even, being in that environment cannot hold us down, cannot hold us back. And it's kind of even if you think we just beat them down, even the little bit that it's beautiful, it's powerful, it's can't be squashed. You can't kill God. You can't kill the truth. We the truth. That's all I want to say. We the truth. Be the truth. Don't even worry about what they doing. Just ignore the notes that talk about what they doing. Just ignore them. Hope Hicks wrote the note Trump held, reminding him to tell shooting survivors, I hear you. And the handwriting is a clear match to her Valentine's Day cards. I've been saying this a lot lately because it's a lot. It's cold. There's a lot I don't want to say. But Television Academy gets first Black. Your arms are too short to box with God. Yes. I thought you were saying my arms were short. The commercial where the guy's like, I would pay the bill, but he has alligator arms. He can't quite reach it. I'm like, my arms aren't short. Television Academy gets first black CEO in 70-year history. This is coming off of Black Then. So I Googled it because I'm like, is this a current story? Black Then. That was a play back in the day. I saw that play. And I even kind of remember the song, Your Arms Too Short. No, I don't think that's a song. But anyway, I think I saw that play. But I think I saw a play on like the Chitlin circuit, like that kind of play. So this is not new. This is not current news. This is from 2016. Because I was like, I don't understand what Black Then does. Because I feel like they should say back in 2016, this happened. And then, but I don't know it's not my blog, so I don't know. But anyway, I wonder what he's doing now. What was his name? I can't even remember his name now. But he came into his thing in 2016. Texas explosions, new Austin blast may be tripwire activated. I think they've determined that it is tripwire activated, but I'm not sure. Video console death, U.S. boy 9 kills sister 13 over controller. They in the house, they playing, are you spoiling? Are you spooling, or is it my system? I don't know what spooling is, so I don't think I'm doing. Am I drooling? I don't know. These children, 9 and 13, are in the house, they playing video games, or they got one controller, whatever. The little boy is like, when the screen is freezing, I don't know, it's not showing it on my side. It's not showing it on my side. Usually I get this red stripe across the top that says no connection or whack connection or something, but I don't have that. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Because I haven't really had it. I'll get flashes of it, then it's me. Oh, then it's you. It's you. That's what I should say. It's you. I haven't had it in a while. I don't know what stopped it or started it. So the children are playing. And the little boy, the little girl is like, no, she's older too. So she's like, no, I'm not giving you this remote control or the controller. I'm playing the game. And so he went and he got a gun and he shot her and she's dead. You know, they say that when we have guns in the house, that most of the deaths are these types of deaths. You know, that you're supposed to have your gun locked up. You're supposed to have the bullet separated from the gun. All of this other stuff, which conceptually I don't really exactly understand. Because I feel like if it's a crisis situation and I need to have a gun, do I have time to be unlocking? And, you know, I don't understand. I don't really understand. But anyway, right, the baby girl is dead. Yeah, so peace, you know, to her and her family. And then, you know, can a 9-year-old, I mean, like now, what happens to the 9-year-old? I mean, how do you feel when you've killed your sister? Like, I don't know. It just seemed like it's like a jacked up situation. So that whole family just is sad, you know, prayers and peace and all of that other stuff. There's now scientific evidence to suggest that there are real health benefits to fasting, and they're not just related to weight loss. So there's some diet where you do 5-2, I think it was called. I never heard of it till this article. But you do, I guess, 5 days of regular eating, and then on 2 days you restrict yourself to 600 calories. And then I guess, you know, it resets your body and stuff. I don't know about, but I have heard that, like, for example, the black Muslims, like, you know, from growing up, they would always just eat 1 meal a day. And that I've heard also in research that, like, being skinnier is, like, an indication of, like, longevity in terms of health. So maybe it's, like, connected to that and, like, fasting and, you know. I think I probably fast the wrong way, because when I fast, I call it fasting or cleansing. I call it cleansing. But I don't think I really restrict my calorie intake, because I guess maybe growing up skinny, I just always felt like I have to eat or else I'm going to die, you know, and I've like kind of worked through that a little bit. But I think the idea like 600 calories a day, can I even survive on 600 calories a day? But it's only 2 days, but like that just kind of freaked me out. I was like, oh my God, 600 calories. Because we were talking about Married to Medicine. The man was like on that kind of diet. I'm like, how he going to survive? I guess he got a lot of, you know, fat stored that he ain't gonna die. But I was just like offended by the whole idea. And I can see I just haven't made peace with it. Venezuela town issues own currency amid cash shortages. There are some communities here, like, in Detroit, in the suburbs of Detroit, there's a Jewish community, and they have their own currency. 600 calories. What is that? Like half a grape? No, it's probably like an apple. It's probably like 6 apples. Half a grape. So there is a community here, like a Jewish community in this area, and they have their own currency. Like, they exchange and it was just like the whole concept is really interesting. When I was in New York City working with credit unions, there was a community in upstate New York that had their own currency. And then there are other communities I've heard of where they do, like, where you can volunteer, or like if you give an hour of labor, you get a community $10 worth of community money that you can spend in any store that accepts it. But I guess this isn't the first community in Venezuela to change over to local currency, because there's something going on where, like, if you want a cup of coffee, you got to like bring like a wheelbarrow of money. And I'm still not clear. I think in this article they were saying that the last administration was socialist, or it is socialist, or I'm not really sure what's going on, because I feel like I don't buy into the propaganda that, like, oh, if you don't have a capitalist system, then your whole world is going to fall apart. I actually think it's the opposite. But I know that's like the propaganda out there. Like, the problem is those Venezuelans are, but I don't know what's really going on. MH17 crash, Ukraine pilot blamed by Russia kills himself. So there was a plane crash, MH17, and I'm like, is that Malaysian? And I think it was a Malaysian thing, and something happened where it was shot out of the air by, they say, by this Ukraine pilot, that Russia said that's who did it. Now, he done killed himself. He's killed himself. You know how, I don't know if he really killed himself or if that's just like the story. But it made me go back and look up was it 370, Malaysian Airlines 370? I looked it up. I still can't remember it. The one that just went missing mysteriously and disappeared. So I'm like, what's up with all of these Malaysian? What's this? Now I'm like freaking out. I'm like, it can't be another Malaysian. Like, what's up with all of these Malaysian, it's not all, it's only 2. But still, 2 data points makes a line. Before that, you ain't got no line. Now we got a line. It might be more to the line than we know of. Malaysian Airlines. I don't know. It just seemed weird to me. Who controls the world's most toxic chemicals? So there's someone who keeps track of, where they think, these chemicals are. I guess this conversation is coming up because of the Novocaine. It wasn't Novocaine, but this nerve agent that was used to kill the Russian person who was living in Britain or something. So I guess there's a conversation going on about dangerous chemicals and chemical warfare. Japan Prime Minister Abe denies involvement in school scandal cover-up. French consulate workers smuggled arms from Gaza. So, because he worked for the consulate, it's kind of like if you're like a flight attendant, they don't check your stuff as much as if you just a regular person coming through. So, because he worked for the consulate, his stuff didn't get checked as much. So he was taking guns from Gaza. I think he was giving guns not to the Israelis, but like to the browner people, to the people who, the Palestinians, but I don't know. But it's just interesting, I guess, and they say he was doing it for money. It's just interesting, I guess just wars and guns and smuggling and lies and cheats and what goes on inside the secretive, semi-official talks between North Korea, the U.S., and South Korea. Now, this talk is a 1.5, it's some term that they use, which means that it's not an official talk. There's like 1, there's a 2, and then there's a 1.5. This talk is supposed to be a 1.5. North Korea will hold track 1.5 talks. Never even heard of that. There are 3 types of talks between countries. Track 1 is official. Track 1.5 is unofficial and involves government staff as well as external experts. And Track 2 doesn't involve the government at all. Okay, so now we know about Track 1.5 and all of that stuff. Turkey's military offensive against Kurds in Syria has reportedly made 200,000 homeless. That's a lot of people. It's kind of like, I guess, as we're living in our homes, I don't know how many of you have moved homes in the last, month, year, 5 years, 10 years. But, as I'm feeling, and I'll speak for all of us, feeling relatively stable, there's like all kinds of shifts and movements and like stuff going on in the world that, And I guess when we were officially enslaved, like, you could just be moved at any moment, or, so if you run away and you try to get established someplace, somebody might see you or you might get words and have to move away. Or, hey, thank you for being a new subscriber. Taj C. Welcome. You might have to run away at any time, or, the laws change, or, I guess a new sheriff come in. I don't know, but, just like that feeling of like instability and not like, when you're building, it feels like there's a certain stability that's needed it's hard to build when you're not stable. But we can always build spiritually because you're always stable in the God within. Okay. Daphne the duck, giant inflatable found off Perth after Australian search. So it was some duck that they were using in some race or something. It was like a big, huge rubber ducky. Like, it was giant. It was like, you'd see the people here, and the duck was like me. I'm the duck, and these are the people. And it floated away, and then somebody found it, and he deflated it because he was carrying it behind his thing, and it kept getting tangled up. He deflated it, so it wasn't very far from where they lost it that they found it. But the big duck has been found, and I also found out that at this particular event, they were giving out small rubber duckies to all of the attendees. Rick Ross returns to the stage, but won't give 50 Cent the time of day. So this is the whole thing where I told y'all Rick Ross was sick in the hospital, having some issues, and 50 Cent said if he died, he died. Or they say that's what I heard. But then when I read this article, it was like he put out a meme that was referring to a scene in the movie where the person, like maybe Rocky or something like that, stood over a person and said if they die, they die. And I was just like, I don't really see, is that mean? And people were like, yes, Angela, that's mean. And coming back to it again, I'm just like, but if he dies, he dies. Like, I'm just having like a disconnect with the, but anyway, and then the headline was misleading because it's not like he won't give him the time of day. He just hadn't said nothing to him. And if you were offended by something, I mean, what he got to do? Go cuss him out. I mean, he living his life. He probably happy to be alive and ain't got time for no BS. And y'all know 50 Cent is foolish. So anyway, Monique has something to say about Isaiah Washington's infamous Grey's Anatomy exit. And I actually skimmed the article, and I can't tell you what the theory was. It kind of depends on the spirit with which it was said. Right, and we know that homeboy 50 Cent, he don't really seem to have like, if you see him in, I already said this, if you see him in interviews, he seems like a nice young man, like, oh, but his reputation, he don't come across as a nice young man, but I don't know. So Isaiah Washington, I think, was the black guy who got thrown off Grey's Anatomy. Supposedly he said something about somebody being gay, or maybe he used faggot. I'm not really clear. I don't watch Grey's Anatomy. I didn't really know. But so Monique said something about like, well, what they said. Basically, she's like, what was said about what happened is not what happened. And I guess apparently Isaiah Washington is co-signing what what Monique said. Monique has a podcast called Open Relationship. And I guess when she started the podcast, that's probably the first episode, she was talking about the fact that her marriage is an open relationship. Because I remember all of a sudden it was like people were talking about, Monique and her husband having an open relationship. And so I'm thinking this is when they started the podcast. But I'm feeling like, well, maybe she's going to find Elaine as like the... like Tasha K on YouTube, or, I don't know, these people who like expose the truth. Maybe that's going to be her, open relationship. Like, you get in a relationship with her. You think something is confidential. No, it's open. I don't know. Anything she knows, she could spill the beans. I don't know. But anyway, she's still out here doing her thing. Ghanaian animal imitator has Guinness's World Record ambitions. I think this is a young person from Ghana who can imitate 100 different animals. So yay. Remy Ma lands role on hit TV show. I don't know what hit TV show it is, but anyway, so I can't tell you. But if you're a Remy Ma fan, watch out for her. As South by Southwest concludes, a fourth explosion shakes the city of Austin. 2 woundings in Austin explosion after parcel bombings. We talked about that again. Peace to the people, all of us, because it's terrorism. I mean, if we as Black people don't feel concerned that we could be next, I don't know why we don't. Some in Brooklyn against naming intersection after slain Black FBI agent. Now, y'all remember when they opened this museum, the Smithsonian opened a Black branch of the museum in Washington, D.C., and it turns out that they don't have a section for the second Black Supreme Court Justice of the United States, but the first unambiguously Black Supreme Court Justice of the United States, the Honorable Thomas, what's his name? Thomas, Thomas. Clarence Thomas? Is it Clarence Thomas? I don't know. So they don't have a section for him, or they didn't when they opened. I think they do now. And some people were like, well, they should have a section in them for him. So this person who they want to name an intersection for, I think he was the first FBI agent. But he was out here probably part of the COINTEL stuff, spying on the Black, is he a friend or a foe? I think he's a foe, even if he's the first. So some in Brooklyn are against it. If I was there, I'd probably be against it too. I don't care what they say. All skin folk are not kinfolk. I don't care what color you are. If you my enemy or you out here acting like my enemy, I don't see why I need to celebrate you. Oh, Queen Sugar. I love Queen Sugar. They must have had it wrong in the article, because I think I looked and I was like, I don't know what show that is. Let me see if they said Queen Sugar, because I should have known that. So yeah, I don't know who the people are in Brooklyn who are against the FBI agent, but who have there been any progressive Black people who work? Can you be progressive and work for the FBI? Black people. Now, we know. It says the hit show Queen South. Queen South is a different show. I don't think I've seen that show. Maybe they meant to say Queen Sugar. She's been on Empire, Lean Back. This is Remy Ma. I never even heard of Lean Back. There was one and he quit. What, one FBI? I mean, how do you even go through the process of being like, ooh, I want to work for the FBI as a grown-up? What kind of consciousness do you... Okay. Trump reportedly made White House staffers sign NDAs that last beyond his presidency. The Handmaid's Tale stars hit Paley Fest to tease season 2. Trips to the colonies and America's descent into Gilead. Ooh, I love that show. I don't have Hulu. He tried hard to do the right thing, but when he saw what they were about, he quit. Is that what Spook, who sat by the door? Well, how can you... I guess that's like Obama. But how you gonna be president of the United States and be progressive at the same time? I mean, there's just too much mess and confusion that the United States is involved in. It's like you can't. I don't have Hulu or I never had Hulu, but I used to. My cousin had set me up with something, and I could see everything. And maybe I have to try to get him back over here to help me, because I can't see everything. Well, I feel the same way. You could start on Obama, and I'll start on the FBI person, because I don't know. I mean, I feel like really we out here in this system that's not our system, and we just trying to figure out how to do the best we can to survive and thrive and have some sort of dignity and feel like we winning on some level. And different people interpret that differently. So, I mean, I don't like just hate a person, but I don't think I'm a celebrator. I mean, I'm not going to hate a person for trying to survive and trying to feel good about themselves. But I don't think I'm a celebrate. I don't know. Because it's like any person you take. You could look at anybody's life, and there are going to be things about it that you could be like, that's excellent. And there are going to be things about it where you like, that's kind of regressive. We all have areas where we need to grow in, where we can be better. None of us is, none of us is perfect. So, I mean, I guess you just choose, your heroes, or choose what parts of people you want to admire. So I can always admire somebody who's willing to try, I guess. But did he try to be righteous for black people? I mean, what he out here trying to be with the FBI? What else did he try? I don't know about him. Austin package bombs, police increase reward for information. Australia bushfire, dozens of buildings feared lost. There's this one guy that I saw who was interviewed, and he was like a police officer, and then he ended up, I think, working for, it might be the same guy, I don't know, but I did feel empathy when I heard his story. He ended up working for like, I don't know, but he was like in the war on drugs, and he's like, okay, so I got some ideas about where the drugs are. These college kids over here, this white community here, this black community there, and they like, okay, all of them ideas, just focus on the black community. He like, but it's not only drugs in the black community. I mean, it's drugs all over. And they're like, just focus on the black community. How many times we got to tell you? And it was like, I guess it was a revelation for him. He didn't realize. He thought he was going to be out here fighting against drug dealers. He ain't know what was going to happen. So that's what happened to him. But when I heard him talking about it, it was like his level of consciousness, his consciousness was raised through the process. But like, he didn't start off, he's just like, yay, I'm rooting for that's what I was talking about. It wasn't the FBI, my bad. We talking about the same person. Yeah. And it was kind of like, I could feel some empathy for him, because it's like, I was just talking how, I have to catch myself, because I feel empathy for like the white guy. Like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to the white guy who got fired from the FBI and he didn't get his pension? And it's like, girl, I don't have no cut it out. His white male friends are going to take good care of him. He's going to be all right. Don't even, but it's like we get trained and oriented. And we were talking about like cowboys and Indians. Like, you're like, yay, we're rooting for the cow. Why are we rooting for the Cowboys? It's like you just be trained before you realize that you don't. So he seemed like he was like, yay, F or whatever. War on drugs. Australia bushfire, dozens of buildings feared lost in Tahatra. White privilege. Yeah, but it's more than white privilege, because it's like we're a part of it too. Like the system. It's like we see things through their perspective. Like, what am I doing worried for a 65-year-old, 50-year-old white man who works for the FBI? He is not my friend. I mean, I'm not saying, he a human, but I just feel like it's something wrong with it, and then, in the next minute, I'm going to see we have compassion, but, I think we get decompassionate to ourselves, because I think in the next minute, I'm going to see some black kid and be like, now, why they doing that? But, it's like, I think we just have a double stand. I think, yeah, but anyway, that's all I got. That's the end of it. It's a wrap. I did watch, Real Housewives of Atlanta last night. So I'm gonna come back and do a review on that. But that's it for the We Have Compassion. Yeah. But we gotta start. We're doing it. We're doing the daggone thing. You are. Just go out and light up the world and be fabulous you. And remember, today is the best day ever. And even if you can't see it, even if you can't put your hand on it, it's the best day ever. So just believe that, reach for it, connect with it, search for it, seek it out. Great show as always. Love and respect. Sis, black love, black love, black love. Thanks for the live. Thank y'all for clicking on 1,000. Oh yeah, we working on 1,000. We're working on 1,000. Ooh, 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 ooh. I appreciate you showing love. I understood. Shoe love. What you talking about? You love your shoes? No, I understood what you were saying. All right. Thanks for coming on. Thank y'all for being here. Peace, 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 good people. All right. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Be you. Be fabulous.